Good day, good night, good evening, whatever it is. Thank you for being here. Today we're going to talk about something I'm quite excited to talk about, which is the collector booster boxes and other products that have come out in the past few years that you missed out on, that you could have doubled, tripled, quadrupled your money in pretty short amount of time. You could have taken out a 0% promo interest rate credit card deal, maxed out that credit card, made all your money back, tripled it, but you didn't. And I didn't either, except for, well, no, I didn't do that for any of these, but I'm excited to get into the details. There's a few products we're going to go over tonight and get into the nitty gritty. But before we do that, hi, my name's Nick. I run a company called Capital Catalyst. If you would like to subscribe, please do. That would help out the channel a ton. Very excited to hit 250 subscribers. Congrats to me. Congrats to us. So let's dive in. First product we're going to talk about. So this is all from the past couple of years, and let's talk about Fallout. Let's talk about the Fallout collector booster boxes that came out in 2024. And for all these prices and for all these references, I'm not going to talk about if you had distribution access. I'm going to talk about if you had access to TCG Player, which is everybody, right? So this isn't like flips that only store owners or people with inside kind of relationships could do. This is what anybody could have done at the time. If they had a crystal ball and could see the future, people could have gone out and bought Fallout collector booster boxes at quite low prices. I mean, well, I say that. So the MSRP for Fallout was roughly 40 to 50 bucks a pack, which when you multiply that by 12, the MSRP, this is the commander deck for the collector booster boxes is around $25 to $35 a pack, which for 25 bucks, that's $300 to $400 for a booster box, which is really interesting. I actually was managed to get one from my local game store for closer to 240 bucks for one booster box, which was an incredible deal. And I did that, and I immediately flipped it for 400 bucks because I was like, sweet, free tendies, which it was. But obviously hindsight's 2020. Today, what these collector booster boxes go for is a nice clean $1,400. And you know what's the craziest part of this is that they're selling. They are selling. They're not selling every day, but a couple a week are selling. And so if you have these, you can just go on to TCG Player right now and list one for $1,429. And assuming that you're still the lowest price in a week, it will sell and you will be that much richer. So what happened here? Well, the supply was very, very low. Now, why is the price so high? Why was the demand so high? Why is the demand still so high? I don't know. I don't really understand. I don't get it. There are serialized cards. There's the serialized bobbleheads. There are these cool special arts and special treatments. But when you look at the single cards and you look at the prices high to low, I mean, you could open up a serialized card in one of these boxes and it still wouldn't cover the cost of the box, right? Like besides the serialized cards, the top hit is a Sol Ring borderless surge foil, which goes for 220 bucks. And that's not even 1/5 of the cost of the collector booster boxes. And so it's not for the cards inside. There's just something about this Fallout collector booster box product that people are willing to pay a huge premium for. Very interesting. And maybe we'll see a trend as we go on and talk about other products, but it is just mind-boggling that these have aged so well. Like I said, I bought one for 240 bucks. I sold it for 400 bucks. If I had held on to it, could have made way more money. But yeah, it is what it is. So let's talk about the next product. Let's talk about Bloomburrow, which, by the way, Fallout came out in March of 2024. So we're 2 years later now. And the price has gone from, 300 bucks to the 1,400 bucks. So almost 4x'd in 2 years. That is the kind of return we're looking for. That is what we want to see. Because, I mean, I don't recommend this, but legitimately, I mean, basically anybody can open up a credit card where you'll have 0% interest for 18 months. And if you, like me just talking about this feels gross, but I'm just saying that like if you had the magic ball and you maxed out, a $10,000 credit card on $300 each collector booster boxes of Fallout, and you waited 18 months, you would have done so well, right? And so I'm not saying we should be doing this, because you don't have a crystal ball and you could go all in on Murders of Carlyle Manor and it could go nowhere, right? But it's interesting to think about, because if we can understand a pattern, if there is something to learn here, which of course there has to be something to learn here, then I don't know, maybe there will be good opportunities. Now, I don't recommend, I've talked about this before, I don't recommend using credit cards unless you have the cash, right? If you're going to speculate on something on credit, you need to make sure that it won't destroy you. So you have to have money coming in from other places. You have to have the cash on the sidelines such that if your speculation fails, you can make up for it with cash. So that is my actual recommendation. But anyways, let's move on to the next product. Let's talk about Bloomburrow, which came out August the same year. So a few months later, Bloomburrow. All right. Long story short, so it's been 2 years now. Well, not quite. It's been like 18 months. And the collector booster boxes are going for $800. Absolutely bonkers. I mean, we see in just the past year, the price has doubled. It was $400 a year ago, and now it is $800. What will it be a year from now? Will it be $1,600? Well, if we think it will be, it'd be a great buy right now at $800. To me, that seems risky. Which is so interesting, right? Like, wouldn't it be fun to do a video a year from now and see like, oh, did Nick in the past guess this right? It feels so risky. If you ask me like, hey, if you think what do you think the odds are that this will be double its price in a year? I would probably say like 30%, honestly. I haven't seen this happen a lot. And once again, I don't understand the mechanism by which the price is so high, because what's crazy is that if you do the same thing, if you take Bloomburrow and you just go look at cards, most expensive to least expensive, the most expensive card is a Lumra Bellow of the Woods, borderless raised foil for, let's see, $630. That is a lot of money. That does not cover the cost of the box. and that is insane. And you compare that to something like Spider-Man, where in Spider-Man, the box is $300, but you can open up a, $40,000 special stone, whatever it's called. And so it's confusing. It's confusing, but obviously what the takeaway is, something we can learn, is that the cards inside do not dictate the cost of the box, which sounds obvious, but it's very strange when you look at a collector booster box where you think that the point is collecting and opening up valuable cards. But it turns out it isn't. It turns out it's something about the experience. I guess this is where we get a little bit of the Pokemonification of Magic, where it's like you want to open up the special card yourself. So that's the reason why you get the collector booster box. It's very interesting. And so once again, this is something where if you had the money, if you had the cash, and a few years ago, you could have got these easily on TCG Player for $240 each, pre-order around the time of release. And here we are 18 months later, and it has almost tripled in price. Oh, no, more than tripled in price. Very interesting. Okay, let's move on to another one. This one I think is actually one of the most obvious ones, which was Festival in a Box, I guess there's the Festival in a Box, which included the Mystery Booster 2. This Festival in a Box, maybe this isn't the one that I went on with friends, but this was selling as a secret lair for $200, and if you got multiple, you could get them for even cheaper. And it included Mystery Booster 2, included the Dragon, included all these different promos and foils. And I just knew that this was a slam dunk. Now, did I buy infinite of them? No, I think I bought like 4. But basically immediately went from $200 to $300 plus bucks. I think I sold mine for around $350. Maybe it was like $370. Of course, after shipping and fees, I net like maybe $100, but maybe closer to like 70 or something like that for each of these. So it was a good pickup. And of course, even just the Mystery Booster 2, the box itself, $320 selling unopened. These are going to see more prints. That's at least my understanding, is that these are being actively printed. Or maybe not actively printed, but there are plans in the future to actively print them. And these just feel like an obvious pickup. Now, obviously, they can always be printed to the ground. I mean, for all of these things, nothing is obvious, so to speak, right? I mean, some things feel obvious where it's like this festival in a box. I mean, the contents are good. Having an Dragon promo feels really good. Mystery Booster 2, the Mystery Booster products have aged well, have done well. Mystery Booster 1 was a huge hit. I guess it might not be as much of a hit now that Mana Crypt's been banned in Commander, but it was a huge hit. And Mystery Booster 2, it doesn't have as many high-hitting valuable cards as Mystery Booster 1, but it is a great product that people love. And so here we are in a world where, like I was saying, so this feels obvious, but they could just print these into the ground. They could just overprint Mystery Booster 2 and the price could just go low, low, low. And so, when I say like, oh, it feels obvious, really nothing is obvious. There's risk attached to everything, right? And you have to make a calculated assessment of what you think is actually going to happen if you're going to speculate on these kinds of things. And so, but in my purview, like if they do a big reprint of Mystery Booster 2, if they do another secret lair, I will buy a bunch of them. I'll probably put a couple $1,000s into it, just because that's like the cash I have. Liquid capital in my business where I am opening cards, selling them, and at any given time there's like a couple $1,000 that I can spend. Now I guess I can't just do over and over and over again, of course it'd run out, but anyways, that's where I'm at. Let's talk about one more product. Let's talk about Final Fantasy. This is kind of the obvious one people are familiar with. It has been, this chart isn't that helpful. I guess it's a little helpful, but this came out mid last year. This was last year's summer set, 2025 summer set. And so we're not even a year out, but the price has gone. At the time of release, we can see like all these $600 selling collector booster boxes, and now it's a $1,000 booster box. It has not doubled. And in fact, the price has gone down since its peak, which was around $1,400. I think we can see that here. Yeah, peak of $1,400. And the price has gone down to closer to $1,000. And will it shoot back up? I think so. Do I think $1,000 is a good price to get in on this product? I think that Final Fantasy collector booster boxes will be a $2,000 booster box. I think they will be in the next year, but honestly, before the end of this year, like I think around summer, like July, August, it's going to be a $2,000 box. And that sounds really quick, but this is the thing, is check out this sell-through data. Every day, multiple of these are selling. That is crazy. Every day, multiple of these are selling. Now, I'm going to do something that is in my opinion, bad practice. And I'll explain why it's bad practice, but I'm going to do it anyway. We got 6, 11, 12, 18, 19, 20. I'm seeing how many there are before the price kind of shoots up. 28, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50, 60. So kind of 60 before it gets to 1,200. Then there's a bunch of ones, like people who are only selling one. And so probably another 20 before it gets into 1,300. And then it will just go up from there. So in theory, if there are, is their average daily sold? I guess three a day. So in theory, in a month, 90 are going to sell and the price is going to start raising hundreds of dollars. Right. And I see YouTubers talk like this all the time, like, oh, this with the sell-through rate, like the price is going to go up pretty soon. That's not the reality, though, because most people don't list until it's a price that they just want to sell it immediately at. Like very few people list saying like, I want mine to sell for 1,300, and even though the market price right now is 1,000, I'm going to list mine for 1,300. That's just a rare thing. And so what's actually going to happen is that once the price gets to 1,100, a bunch more people are going to list. Then once the price gets to 1,200, a bunch more people are going to list. And so, it's a bad practice to do. It's not true that in a month we are going to be, at $1,300 a box, but at some point the supply does get stretched. And yes, lots of these Final Fantasy collector booster boxes were printed, but people like this. People are buying it. People are opening it. Similarly, what's fascinating, if we take a look at the cards priced high to low. Now, with these boxes, you can open up the serialized, or I guess not serialized. Well, you can open up a serialized, but you can open up these Chocobo, which are worth more than the current price of a collector booster box. But the more common open would be something like a Surge foil of these main characters, and that goes for way less money. Wow, it is crazy. It is crazy that you can get a borderless Surge foil Tifa, the healthiest character to ever be printed on a Magic card, that you can get the Surge foil for less than $60. That is just bonkers. But that speaks to how many people are opening this. Just crazy. So, anyways, what was I saying? A lot of really interesting points. So in summary, like, what do we learn from Fallout, from Bloomburrow, from mystery boosters, from Final Fantasy? There's not a strong connection between the cards in the box and the price of the box. I don't know how helpful that is, though, because there's also not a strong connection between Murders of Carla Manor or Thunder Junction or Aether Drift. Those cards aren't expensive either, and their collector booster box prices are not expensive. And so there's got to be some kind of data point that is outside of the things that we're thinking about or that I'm talking about right now that does a better job of discerning when these boxes are going to just spike in price and double and triple and quadruple. And that's something I'm thinking about. So if you have ideas, and want to share your wealth of knowledge, please comment below. I would love to interact with that, love to bounce ideas off of people and try to figure out what's going on here, because, hey, there's an opportunity. There really are there's opportunities to see a valuable product that people in the future are going to want, and to be the person that's ready to give it to that person in the future, right? Because if somebody wants it today, it's this price. But if they want, a Final Fantasy collector booster box in 2027, the price is going to be different. And those people need to buy it from someone. And why not you be that someone, right? And so anyways, thanks for watching. Like I said, please subscribe, especially if you made it this far in the video. And I will see you next time.